I am an ecosystem guy. You can call that an ecosystem enabler. That's something I've been doing for last 12 years, primarily working with the startup ecosystem, help nature startups, primarily early stage startups, help them to grow by running different programs. So I've been sort of working in the similar space, for last decade or so. Initially tried building my own company, but that was right after my college. I did that for a year or so, and joined the same incubator, and eventually sort of decide that, okay, this is something that I want to do in the rest of my career. So I'm still 12 years after, I'm still doing the same. So at Google, I work as a part of a team which is developer ecosystem or startup ecosystem, help run AI startup programs, which help startups across different stages on adopting AI, but also any general, the technology startups that we work with. Uh, Primarily startups, programs like Accelerator is one of our flagship programs that we run. We run like bunch of scale engagement. We also, work with other incubators and accelerators to support the broader startup ecosystem. But I want to, I think this better job, instead of me sort of explaining what I do or how we work with the startups, I would love to sort of, if team can play a video that I've shared, maybe that will give an example of the kind of startups that we work with, and then probably we can take it from there. If there's no technical challenge, if we can play the first video, that'd be great.
Hello, hi, welcome.
What's happening?
I'm building something very cool with Vertex AI, and I would like to show you what I'm building. Please come and see. Hi, I'm Senthil Kumar. This is my AI idea. Last year, I had a baby girl. I typically take care of my baby during the night time. So my role is showing the baby, make sure that it is sleeping. Sometimes the baby used to cry mid of the night. I really don't know why the baby is crying.
She is always crying, my baby. It's not only for hunger, so maybe she might feel some discomfort.
Sometimes what happened is it start vomiting. And as a new parent, we were getting panicked. Called the hospital, and 3 a.m. in the morning, we rush to the hospital. And sometimes doctors say, hey, it's burping, you forget to do burp. My idea is is there is any way my baby can tell, hi dad, now this is why I'm crying, please take an action. Is there is any way I use technology to solve this? Is there is any way I can convert the baby crying into the language model, I can understand it as a new parent, not only me. I immediately went to Gemini and asking it, is there is any pattern for baby cry?
Actually, I searched in Google and all how to differentiate the baby crying sounds.
When I searched it, I come to know that all the baby in the world cry for 5 patterns. It follows certain frequency, certain rhythm, and certain amplitude the baby cries. Okay, when it's bite or hunger, baby cry aggressively. If it is more on burping or thing, the baby pattern is different. And the next onwards, whenever my baby cries, I start recording it.
So I thought, why you're recording? No. I'm developing a program to find out why the baby is crying. So instead of recording her voice, you should console her. You should calm her down. So that is what I said.
The goal is build a very simple prototyping app using Flutter. The goal of the app is just to record the audio sample. Then use Gemini models to identify this is a crying sample or not. Once that is found, then my idea is to find pattern, do that. So I basically convert the audio sample into the visual spectrum, because I'm planning to use deep neural network. Deep neural network is all about image. So any pattern, you give it as an image form. Yeah, that is how it's trained. Yeah, this is for hunger. Now I am asking the Gemini through Vertex Studio. Now, yeah, it's a baby crying for hunger. Here's how it helps. I'm even thinking that the first thing the baby do is a cry when it born. So they can even record it and tell what the baby is trying to communicate. So once you have so many samples, you can even train it. What is the first message the baby communicated to the world? What my goal is, the baby born anywhere, for a rich, poor, does not matter. First 1,000 day, the baby should get the premium care. Google Studio, AI, Vertex Studio allow everyone learn AI faster and solve their community problem, local problem themselves. So this might be a very good development learning cycle for you.
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you know Senthil. He's an entrepreneur and builder from Madurai, who's been sort of part of our program, both Accelerator as well as our developer community. So we work with startups and founders like that across the country and help them to sort of grow and build, and solve specific problems. And that's a great example of that you can find problems to solve even at your house. So yeah.
I think this is the best ever time to build startups, right? So what are the emerging trends you see in the global arena in India and also in India, and what are the opportunities? Would like to know your perspective there and what you've seen in your multiple pitches, of course.
Yeah, no, I think if you look at last 3 years, I think it's evolved like anything, right? The most transformation in the AI happened or machine learning happened over the last 3 years, and it's faster than any of the technology adoption. We've seen like when sort of ChatGPT moment came in, like we've seen like the text generation as a wow moment, but then we've seen the image generation. Now we are seeing like multimodal capabilities like videos being generated, agentic capabilities, etc. There are three things that we are based on our experience of working with the startups and startup ecosystem, and also from the technology standpoint. Three things that we are seeing as a trend that startups are expected to pursue this year and next year. One is, of course, the multimodal capability sort of, is going up, and the market is, the global multimodal market is expected to reach 98 billion by 2037 or something like that. You've seen, like, you can take out your phone and then do a live interaction with the model and ask any questions. And as a startup or developer, you have access to those as an API, and you can build any application on top of that. That's just one example. You've seen, like, I don't know how many of you sort of tried VO3. You can generate videos, and it's coming into the film making as well, right? You've seen like Flow as a platform that filmmakers are using to make films, and that's also available for you to sort of access as an API and build. That's one area we've seen that I think that's going to drive a lot of application level adoption of AI in the multimodal capability, and you're going to see like a lot of changes in that space as well. Second is the agentic AI is expected to fuel the next phase of the AI landscape growth. There are 82% of the enterprises are already looking to sort of adopt an agentic AI solution over the next 2 years or so. So I think we are going from completing very specific or generic tasks to agents sort of completing multiple tasks and completing the whole workflow for you. You're seeing that on the as a coding agent. Like, I don't know if you sort of tried vibe coding. So you can build any application and this just by writing in the natural language. And the last part is we are also seeing the similar trends in assistive search. I think one great example of that is Google search. You have AI mode. The way people search is changing. We are seeing the customer experience is improving. Like, it was chatbot. Now you can interact with I don't know how many of you got, like, calls from, I don't know, some financial services, and all these are, most of these are even powered by, AI, and you don't even recognize whether it's a human or AI. And then last is basically the personalization. So you'll see a lot of personalization, hyper-personalization happening in that space. These are three major trends that we are seeing in the technology. And if you look at the India as a market, AI is expected to play a big role in India to sort of achieve the 1 trillion digital economy, which is supposed to be the 20% of GDP by 2028. and AI is going to play a big role there. As a market, as a startup ecosystem, it's also sort of evolving quite fast. Based on the NASCON report, which came out like a couple of weeks ago, India just last year, India's Gen AI startup space grew by 4x, and India became the second largest um, Gen AI startup hub. And a lot of this come from tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. So this trend is going to sort of, we're seeing the similar trends in our programs as well, the kind of startups that we are working with. And we are sort of super excited to see how a lot of these are of course happening in the application layer, but there's also startups working on the foundational models. Of course, there's a lot of customization, vertical customization happening on the models, make it more accessible in terms of the language, because India is a diverse market. Or for the specific use case, you see that medical focus LLMs coming out. You'll see, there are sign language focus. So there's a lot of vertical focus models will be coming out. So these are some of the trends that we are seeing.
So if you look at what Jensen of NVIDIA told, I think yesterday, day before, he told that most of his team members are using Cursor now. So and there was a comment for what he told. People were telling that Cursor is not an enterprise tool, but NVIDIA is using, the world's most valuable company is using Cursor. So, now how many, you can choose to answer or you can deny to answer, right? So in your accelerators, how many folks are there in a typical team? Say for them to hit $1 million, $2 million revenue, do they need a large team? Do they need a small team? We want to know from your cohorts.
Yeah. So,
So that people get the confidence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can, not just from our accelerator, I can take example from other, generally from other programs as well. But one of the program that, just to give a little context, one of the program that we run to help startups, especially startups between seed to Series A, is our accelerator program, which is our flagship program we've been running for last 10 years now. We work with startups like ShareChat, DriveC, and all of them were part of our accelerator when they were early on. Those, and last 3 years, we've been specifically running program which is focused on supporting startups has AI capabilities, right? And the change that we have seen is, of course, when the startups, come to our program, at that time we were looking at the number of employees as one of the factors that shows the maturity of the company. We've seen like startups with 100 employees, 50 employees applying, and they're still in the similar stage, right? Seed to Series A, have a very strong product market fit, have some revenue making. And of course, if you're selecting 10 startups, half of the startups are not necessarily making revenue, but they still have good traction, good users, etc. But the change that we are seeing today, when we launched our AI accelerator, it was AI focus initially, because that was just, the change was still happening. But now today, if you look at this year's cohort, a lot of these companies are 80 to 90% of the companies are already making revenue. And when we're talking about revenue, it's not a small revenue, like 1 million to 10 million, that range, right? And the teams are very small, 10 people, maximum 20 people, that's it. And these are very new age companies, like startups who was formed like a couple of months ago. And just to take another example, this is just from our program, YC or Y Combinator, if you know that program, this year's batch, if you look at that, 25% of the startup from that cohort their code is 95% of their code is generated by AI. So it's all like vibe coded. It's of course not like fully vibe coded, but I think that the AI is helping to sort of build the product. And they're going from 0 to 100 million in few months with the tiny teams. And a great example is Lovable, Cursor. Yeah. You mentioned Cursor. And that's a company went from 0 to 30 million to 100 million in 12 months with, I think, 18 or 15 members of team. So these are, and it's going in the hyperscale mode, yeah.
Interesting. So Coimbatore, we are a city of SMEs, right? So my question is that, is there a possibility of people building, let's say, a $10 million revenue company without raising any money and with using Google's ecosystem and support?
I think it's totally possible. A lot of these companies that we discuss, is built, not necessarily built or reach that stage with the investment. I think they raise the money. Most of them, I think some of them at least, raise the money after they've sort of had that growth. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in the application layer. We've seen the Sendel's videos, right? He identified that problem at home. You know, you can find these kind of specific problems. It doesn't have to be like, uh, you know, big enough, but there's still a potential to big. So there's a lot of examples of application built using Lovebird, which is making like, 1 million, 5 million, ARR. So 100%. So there's a lot of resources that from Google, if I can speak specifically from the Google perspective, we offer, of course, as a model that is available as an API, so you can access that to build any product. If you want to prototype, we have Google AI Studio that you can sort of play around with these models and see what you sort of the outcome will be. We offer cloud credits, so you don't have to take care of the infra while you're sort of building it until you have the initial customers. You can sort of completely rely on Google Cloud as a platform. We offer a bunch of programs, like, as I mentioned, Accelerator is one, but even before Accelerator, we run like an academy, which is 3 days boot camp. We do a lot of these events and engagement to make sure that startups has those resources to sort of help build and grow. So yeah.
So I think everybody should go vibe code, right? That's what people should do, right? So, okay, does Google have, support for other AI models? People sometimes they might think that they have access only to Google's model, like Gemini, right? Can they use? I know the answer, but I'm asking for the audience, right?
Yeah, you can use that word.
They can use other models?
Absolutely. I think Google Cloud as a cloud infra, it's an open, we take an open cloud approach. We have something called Model Garden. You can sort of use any models, Llama, any other models, you can use it there. I think there is also some part of the credits also can be used for other models. Yeah.
Interesting. So, does your role help startups with go-to-market? Do you do that?
So that's when it comes to AI startups, I think that's the biggest ask. The challenge or the ask that mostly comes is around GTM. Yes, the answer is yes, and we are trying to do more around that, and that's the area we want to do more in the coming months and years as well. There are a couple of ways we already helping on that. One is we have a program called Springboard, it's Google Cloud Springboard program. So if you're a SaaS B2B company who's building a solution that can be used by business enterprises across the world, this program helps AI startups to integrate on Google Cloud Marketplace. That help you to sort of reach the enterprise customers that is available on Google Cloud, and they can sort of, within few clicks, they can use your your product to sort of integrate. So that's one way. The other way is, of course, we sort of through our program, Accelerator program, we are sort of support startups on to be ready for GTM. We have a strong network we run 22 accelerators globally every year. So that means we are present in these regions, different regions across Middle East, Europe, and America, and pretty much all the regions. So we can leverage those network to sort of connect startups with those relevant folks. So there are different ways that we look at supporting, but this is the area one we want to sort of do better in the coming months as well.
So you mean to say that you help people with market access across the globe, right? So yeah, I think we were discussing that. So you were also telling that you help people to go to the US also with their business, right? So you do that work with market access, right?
Yeah. So the program directly don't offer that, of course, but when they sort of we recently did something called Gemini Founders Forum. As in, like, there's a recently closed an application for that, where we are taking like few selected startups across the world to few days, 2-3 days event in SF, where startups get access to some of these VCs, technology experts, enterprises, and interact with them. So there are certain programs like that. We're also looking at sort of supporting startups through immersion programs, etc. So that's something that we sort of want to work on next year. Yeah.
Wonderful. Last question. So, how do entrepreneurs and individuals reach out to Google and get the support of your team and the accelerator program and other programs which you told
absolutely.
about?
We have a booth right here when you enter, so you can visit our booth, Google for Startups booth. Some of my colleagues are there, so you can meet any of us. Happy to chat more and help with anything that and also would love to see, like, I mean, what you are sort of looking to build. As you rightly mentioned, would love to see, like, I mean, a lot of applications and AI innovations happening from this part of the country. Since just to add on, like, I mean, from the last 2 years, we have seen a lot of the very core AI innovative solutions coming from Tamil Nadu. So that's very interesting. We work with StartupTN and also IIT Madras Incubation Cell. So a lot of interesting startups. There's a bunch of things that we already done in Tamil Nadu. Unfortunately, not in Coimbatore yet. Probably this.
You're here now. You're here to support us.
It's a good start. And before we end, I want to end with one video. I know we started with one video. I want to end with another video that gives a, an understanding of the impact that we want to make in the startups. At Google, we work with the startups because they try to solve like some of the biggest problem, and they make impact in the people's life, and we want to be part of that to sort of in support in, even if it's in a small way. And the story, the video that you're going to see is an example of that. If we can play that last video, and then probably we'll wind up with that. Yeah, the second video, if it's possible. Yeah.
Growing up, I had struggled a lot with education. It was frustrating. And when I realized that Hizam had an idea to work in education, that really resonated with me a lot.
ഞാനൊരു അമ്മയൊക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ ലൈഫിൽ ഒരു വലിയൊരു പോസായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ കരിയറിൽ ഒരു വലിയൊരു ബ്രേക്ക് എടുക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ട് വന്നു. ഹസ്ബൻഡിന് അപ്പോൾ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ജോബായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ജോബ് അട്രാക്റ്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് എനിക്കും ഗവൺമെൻറ് ജോബ് വേണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ടായി. സെൽഫ് സ്റ്റഡി സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് വളരെ ചെറിയൊരു റാങ്ക് ആയിരുന്നു ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. എനിക്ക് ജോബ് കിട്ടുന്ന വലിയ റാങ്ക് കിട്ടിയില്ല. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഡ്രോബാക്ക്, എനിക്ക് ഒരു മെൻറ്റർഷിപ്പിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യകതയെ പറ്റി എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി.
There are 400 million people who are not proficient in English, but with the right kind of learning experience in their own local language or mother tongue can improve their employability chances.
So we thought, is there a way that we can make it more affordable for them?
We met at a juice shop in Kochi. It was fun. So I pitched him the idea. He liked it, and we decided to do it. Entry is an Android-first platform where users can consume learning content in their own local language and be ready for a job.
The problem with trying to build a technology company from a smaller city is that there aren't enough people you can learn from. In the early days, that was a big problem that was stopping us from having higher velocity when it comes to engineering. That is when we learned about Google for Startups Accelerator, and that is the biggest contributor to the engineering excellence that we have right now. It was very obvious for us, we want to have courses in people's native language. And that was a huge problem. That was not a scalable solution, right? We did not have enough amazing teachers on all of these topics in all of these different languages. That is why we leveraged Gemini's capabilities, as it worked really well with Indian languages. Then we introduced new AI features like teaching assistant and interview coach to help users interact with the video content and prepare them for interviews in Indic languages through chat interfaces. So if users have any question or if they have any doubts, if they want to get a summary of content, they can just directly talk to the teaching assistant and get all these answers. With these AI features powered by Gemini, we saw an increase of around 20% in user retention.
ഇത് എല്ലാ ഹാർഡ് വർക്കിൻ്റെയും അവസാനം എനിക്ക് ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ച പോലെ നല്ലൊരു റാങ്ക് എനിക്ക് കിട്ടി. അങ്ങനെ എനിക്ക് ഗവൺമെൻറ് ജോബ് കിട്ടി.
Only 5% of the world has English as a first language. And similar to how Android helped us scale very fast in India, I think AI will help us scale fast across the world.
ഇതല്ല, ഞാനൊരു പൂ മാത്രമാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്, പക്ഷെ എനിക്കൊരു വലിയൊരു പൂക്കാലമാണ് എനിക്ക് കിട്ടിയത്. എല്ലാ രീതിയിലുള്ളൊരു സപ്പോർട്ടാണ് എന്നെ ഒരു സക്സസ്ഫുൾ വുമൺ ആക്കിയത്.
Yeah.
So that's your story.
Yeah, that's a story of an existing startups leverage AI to fuel the next phase of their growth. They have 50 million users already, but now they're looking into AI to sort of so we are looking forward to sort of work with some of the startups like this and make a similar impact. So thank you, and looking forward to seeing some of you at the booth.
Thank you, Farish. Thank you so much.